Bueno.
Hello.
What's up, IG? What's up, Facebook?
Hey.
How's it going, guys?
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, you guys. We are here for Coffee with the Coaches. I'm Coach Kat. We got our head coach Valencia here, Coach Ariana.
Hello.
Or Coach Felix, all right? So guys, we're super happy to be here with you guys today. I'm super pumped to be here because I had to miss out on this last week. But anyways, hopefully you guys are all doing good. You guys, we're gonna be talking about leadership today, which is like kind of perfect because it's actually our theme of the weekend here this week. But you guys, before we get into that, I have to let you know that next week on Wednesday, sales are going to close for our upcoming 6-week transformation challenge. So you guys, make sure you get registered, okay? And don't wait till the last day because we got to get a lot of information to you guys and some information back from you guys. So the sooner you sign up, the better. But you guys, if you are new to our boot camp, you're going to be coming in for the first time. It's $29 to register, and then it'll be $29 a week for the 6 weeks, okay? And it's really awesome, you guys. Of course, you're gonna get in here, get your workouts in, but we're also gonna help you guys out with your nutrition big time. We set you up with your nutrition plan. You'll be working with one of our awesome coaches to keep you accountable, keep you motivated, keep you on track. And honestly, with our challenges, we want you guys making progress like every week. So we're checking in with you guys constantly to make sure things are going good. And this is gonna be your second challenge. Are you pumped? You ready?
I'm so excited. I loved the first challenge. Everyone got such amazing results. Just being even a little bit closer to you guys in your fitness journey excites me so much more. And I have so many new clients now that I'm excited to get closer with and just push them towards their goals, learn about their goals. They get to find their weak spots, make themselves stronger, and it's just gonna be awesome. So make sure that you guys are signing up because we all can't wait.
Yes, you guys. And even so, if you're coming in new, that's perfect. And even if you've been working out with us, you guys, for our VIP members, you guys get registered. It's a $20 registration for you guys, and then the $10 extra for that for the 6 weeks. All right, you guys, definitely worth it. I know you've done a few challenges, Lindsay. Are you looking forward to this one?
I've done my time. The new way that I've looked at the challenge more recently too is actually how I explained it to someone, and it clicked even more in my head. Is when you get on the challenge, it kind of reveals the stuff that you don't know that you don't know. Like, there's a lot of things that we all kind of understand. It's like, oh, I need to work out, I need to get my nutrition, like sleep, water, the healthy habits that we have and the foundational stuff. But it's also like the other things, like, are we having too much, is there a lot of stress in our lives? Are there things that we're not dealing with? Is the reason why our nutrition isn't on par because of, X, Y, or Z? It's all those things that aren't surface level, and we get to reveal those and work on them and get better over the 6 weeks that I truly enjoy more and more and more. And so that's always a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun to do. And so I'm excited to see what we get to work on this time, because it's always cool when the cogs in my brain start turning. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited about too. I feel like I was talking to a couple clients actually a couple weeks ago, and they're like, every challenge I do, I learn something new about myself. So if you've done challenges, you guys keep doing them, because it just helps to keep kind of speed up your progress for those 6 weeks, and then you get to learn some stuff about yourself or just get more dialed in on certain things that maybe you started kind of slacking on. So you guys get registered. Sales are gonna close on next Wednesday, so don't hesitate, all right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. So, and also we got our lovely display right here of our Everyday Fit. You guys, if you don't know already, we got our new low carb marg. So the weather's getting nice out there. I know people will be having their Sunday fun days and stuff like that. So you guys pick this stuff up, make yourself some good, healthy, low carb drinks, or just have the Everyday Fit with some water, and then no added sugars or any of that stuff. And it's gonna keep you hydrated, which is the most important thing. So we got tons of good flavors on that, but you guys already know about our Everyday Fit. So let's get into our topic for today. Take it away, Valencia.
That's where I come in. All right. So today is actually very fitting because it is also the theme of the week, and it's all about leadership. Now, loosely, at least to me, leadership can mean an infinite amount of things. Like I say, and I'll always say, we all grew up very differently from different backgrounds, different families, and everything like that. So we all have a different understanding of what it was from our childhood to high school to like everything and growing up. And I know it's definitely shifted massively for me over the last year and a half working here, and and it's definitely had a profound impact. And one of the things that I enjoy is, unlike anywhere else I've worked a ton of jobs in the short amount of time that I've been in, I guess, the workforce, if you want to call it. But I worked a lot of different jobs, and there's been no other place where everybody is in right, shown, and expressed that they are their own leaders than in here. And I love that a lot, because it means that we all have some way or somehow to improve, and not only improve but contribute. And it's more than welcome, because it's about making those right changes and taking the right course of action in order to get there. Now, again, we all kind of look at life differently. You guys might not think you're a leader. If you right now, if you're watching this and you don't think you're a leader, you're wrong. Those are the words of Coach Sean, so I'm not being rude. But if you think that you're not a leader, you are incorrect, because there's always going to be people that are watching. There's always going to be people that are looking up to you or looking to you. And just because you are not aware that they are there does not mean that you are not leading them in one way or another. And that's what you got to kind of look out for. If you guys have kids, you're leading your kids to better lives. I mean, I know you've probably got a billion stories with Leah and stuff that you've learned just from becoming a mom and stuff like that, and how you have to lead. If you're at work and you have any position can do something for everybody else. Regardless if you think that you're the smallest person in the thing. There's always those like war movies, and it's always like the private, the dude that just got into the military that ends up being the hero and like leading everybody. So it doesn't matter at what position or how big it is or how important, in air quotes it is, you're leading in some way or another. Now, I'm gonna go a little bit off what I think leadership was when I grew up and how it's changed a little bit. Now, when I grew up, of course, very much into like World War II movies. I don't know why, that was my thing. I know a lot about World War II just like from my brain, from those video games and war movies. But that did shape a lot of like what I thought leadership was, but not exactly in the right way, because I didn't understand what it took to be a leader. It was always that thing too, where it's like, oh, these people are like natural born leaders. They just have it, and I don't. And it definitely came off as like I wasn't exactly confident in my ability to be in that position to guide others. It was always like somebody had to speak first, or somebody else had to do something first, and then I'd be able to express or do something. And so when I looked at those guys, or I looked at the movies or anything else, it was like, oh, they just have it. So it's like, it's cool, like everybody looks up to them. Everybody, like, they have whatever it is, that spark, that drive, and so people are just, magnetized to them. They just go to them, and they're attracted to them, and it's like nice to see. But for me, I don't exactly have that, I don't have that position of power or whatever you want to call it. So I guess I'm just going to be someone that's a follower. And that was my mentality for a very long time. And looking back at where I am now, it makes a lot of sense when I reflect on my own life, because there are countless opportunities where I took the easier path, or I looked for somebody else to do something first, or I didn't exactly put in the effort that I knew I had to in order to achieve the goal I wanted, because it was more of like, oh, like, I'm not supposed to be there. I don't have that in me, or I don't have that drive, or that motive, or just that being in that position. And I think one thing that it goes off of, Kat, if you want to share a little bit, is one of the things that we've learned from growing in our leadership, because I think the lid is a really big part of what I was missing out on.
So, just so you guys know, Coach Valencia, I, Coach Daniel, and Coach Susie, we're actually part of a leadership mastermind, and we work with the coach, and we're going through the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. I'm not going to share all of them with you guys. We're still learning them. But you guys, the number one law of leadership is the law of the lid. And basically, your leadership is the lid that determines your success, right? So is that what you wanted me to share, is about the lid, right? So basically, like, you got to keep growing and pushing your lid like up and up, right? Yeah.
And that's kind of like, in that regard, for me, I know that my I guess lid, if we call it that, has risen immensely from just also being aware of that it's like you can grow in being that leader, but it takes a lot of awareness. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of understanding to be like, hey, I can get better at this, and I can be responsible for these things, and I can take the not the pressure, but I can take everything that comes at me and grow from it, rather than being like, oh, it's just kind of like, it's not my wave, it's not my vibe, I'm just gonna get out of here and do that, because that's how it was for the vast majority of my life. A lot of the funny part is a lot of like friends or stuff like that knew me from anywhere from like 3 years ago or before, and I haven't really had a whole lot of contact with. They see me and I'm very much a completely different person on like almost every single except for
But I think that's great. Like we should be changing and growing and evolving and leveling up, you know.
And it's like it's cool to see, because it's like, oh, I'm working on myself. I'm not necessarily concerned about what others are thinking about me, but it's cool when other people are like, whoa, like you don't do this anymore. Now you're over here. You're doing these things. Like you preach this now. You're over here, and I'm like, yeah, but it's like my life now, and I want to show other people that if I'm able to do something, there's no reason or no excuse why you can't be able to replicate or do the same exact thing.
That's right.
Regardless of like anything.
And that kind of goes into like our second law that we learned about is the law of influence. And basically what it comes down to is like leadership is the ability to influence people. So just like, you know, old friends or people who are watching you, like they're seeing you, like you're talking about these different things, you're doing different things, and whether you think it or not, like you're influencing them. Maybe they're not taking action on it right away, but you're like planting those seeds in people, and they're watching and you're influencing them, and that makes you a leader. And you know, so everybody that's in here, you guys are coming in, you're working out and you're posting about your workouts and you're doing these stuff. Like you guys are influencing people in here in the studio. And you guys influence people that see your guys' posts. You influence your family, and everyone knows that you're doing this. And so that makes you guys leaders. All right.
Yeah.
So, Coach Ariana, we
Yeah.
just talked a whole lot about a whole lot of stuff. What's your input? I know.
You guys got my wheels turning in my head, that's for sure.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Thinking about leadership, to me, it's all about hearing you guys both talk about it, all about like just being the best version of yourself.
Yes.
I think that ever since working here, I've definitely been trying to step into more of a confident leadership role. And I've had a ton of changes within myself too. Like I've had a lot of emotional conversations with my family about like in such little time how much I've changed and how much more confident I've gotten, and just how much even I've just been carrying myself and like working so hard. I know I have a bunch of people that I look up to in my life, in here, at home, you guys, it's just all super inspiring. And what I'm trying to do to be a better leader is to just make sure that I'm taking care of myself and leading the best and healthiest life that I can. Because I know people like in my family who are even older than me, you know, tell me that they wish that they could be doing something that they love so much, and because they can see how much I love going to work every day. And also like my little nephew, like my dad's always telling me that not a ton of people in my family are active, so he's always saying like it's really good that he sees someone who's active. Whenever I'm not home, he's like, oh, Adi's over there working out. Like, so it's really cool. Or if he sees someone on a magazine running, he thinks it's me. So I could completely not look like that person, but he'll think it's me. So it's super cool seeing and hearing people tell me how much that they've seen changes in me. And I've had talks with Coach Valencia about trying to be more, and everyone trying to be more self-aware of like people are watching you, people, you know what you're doing, so make sure that you are just being really self-aware of the things and the habits that you have in your life. Because every time after every session when we're talking about the theme of the week, I'm always saying you never know who's watching you, and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing by coming in here and taking care of yourself first, because you're just leading by example, basically.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean I feel like that's what it comes down to when you're being a leader. Like you have to lead by example, right? Like you can't just be telling people to do these things.
Practice
and
what you
like,
preach,
like that's more of like, if you're looking like at roles, I guess it'd be more of like a manager role, right? Like you might be telling your people like you're gonna do these things, but you're not doing any of it, but you have to be that leader and like and show the way, lead the way by example. And speaking of that, like it doesn't matter about your title, right? Whether you're whoever you are at your own job, or if you're not a manager or whatever, like you're still a leader. That's just a title, but it's just like about how you lead yourself in your life and you take care of yourself. And I really think that's what it's all about, is like taking care of yourself, growing yourself, and just seeing how you can get better. And when you do that, you bring the people up around you. There's a reason why she's been able to grow in such little time, and Valencia and myself and all of us. Like, we do it intentionally. And I know, like, when they first started, like,
I was not good.
but then I would even tell them, like, look, like, yes, you're a coach, but like you're also a leader. Like we want a team of leaders, and it doesn't matter if I'm the facility leader, Daniel's the owner. Like, you guys are leaders. You guys are leading our clients, and they influence me and inspire me, and vice versa. So it's just like everyone's a leader in their own way. And especially, like, you parents know out there, man, like, your kids are watching. That was obviously like my biggest introduction to like leadership, because as like in my youth and in my high school days and school days and stuff like that, like, I wasn't thinking about leadership. I was like thinking the opposite, really. I think like I was very much of a rebel and just kind of like going against the norm for everything and just doing my own thing. I wasn't really I wasn't thinking about leadership until I had my daughter, and then she started, like, as she got older, you just really start to see, like, man, they watch you and they do what you do, and it's like you have to start being careful with the things that you say and the things that you do, or else you're out like with family and then she says something and it's like, oh my gosh, dude. But it's just like, even if you don't have kids, like, your friends, the people that you talk to, people you're around, like, they're listening to you, they're watching you, and you're influencing them. So yeah,
that's a great point. Aaliyah definitely. Even like when I'm in here, I kind of like watch, because I'm like, Aaliyah will like observe what I do, and I'm like, I don't even like, cool. But just in here, especially when it comes to, I think with all of us, like, she could probably tell everybody in the facility at least one thing about another coach, and it's like dead accurate. And I'm like, okay, cool.
I think it's so cool when you guys bring your kids in here and they're just sitting there and they're watching you guys work out, and they'll take pictures of you and you guys will post them. Like, I know Zoila's daughter does that a lot. They'll sneak pictures.
They'll start working out.
Yeah, they'll do little workouts on the side over there. Yeah, they're watching for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome, man. Like, we're showing our kids the way. I love when you guys bring the kids to boot camp. Sorry guys, my other phone keeps timing out, so I keep getting up. Boom. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you guys, like, just lead by example. Really, like, you gotta walk the walk, right, or walk the talk, or however the saying goes.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is having the people around me that I can feed off of, which is obviously in here, and then creating that same culture in my personal life and having those types of people around me outside of here too, because you're constantly, I feel like no matter how tired I am at the end of the day, I leave wanting to do more and I leave wanting to be better. So whatever it takes for you guys to be able to constantly grow yourselves into, like, the challenge, find weaknesses, within yourself to be better. If you're constantly surrounding yourself with people who push you and we're always giving each other feedback on how to improve, like, and now all the time I just want feedback, more and more of it. Yeah.
And I think it's super important to be open to feedback, you guys. Yeah. And that's something too, like, I've been kind of trying to instill in Aaliyah lately, because I'll like tell her something and she gets like sad. I'm like, you don't need to get sad. I'm giving you feedback so you know for the next time. Like, it's just like, you got to be open to give and receive feedback. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but the more you do it, the more you just like kind of crave it and you get comfortable with it, even if sometimes it's still like, I didn't want to hear that, like, but it is what it is. It's like how you get better. So, we constantly are like giving each other feedback, like, every day, multiple times a day. As soon as you guys leave the exit doors, we're like, all right, feedback.
Yeah, like, I'll give a personal qualm, I guess. Like yesterday with the workout too. The workout was like very good. For you guys, the workout might have been like great, but like in my head, I'm like, it's not perfect. And I knew it. And for whatever reason, I couldn't break down like one of the exercises. And we made adjustments. We made some changes. but it still just like didn't feel right and like didn't click in my brain, because I don't have it sometimes where it's like I don't feel like I don't know the answer directly, or I can't solve the problem. But it's like in here too, yes, as a title, like I've earned head coach's position, but I'm never in a state of being like I'm the head coach, you gotta listen to me, what I did is right. That's not gonna get us anywhere. So like the entire day, like Sean made an adjustment in the morning. I was like, cool, great, we ran with it. It was good. And then I think we made an adjustment later in the day. And then when you guys coached in the afternoon, you made another adjustment. And like in my head, I'm not gonna say, oh, I programmed the workout. Like I made it stick with it. Like just, that's the end all be all. I'm like, okay, what did they do that can make it better? How did they do it? And what did they think about? Yeah. And regardless if they're even talking to me, I'm still getting feedback from it, because it's like, I need to learn what I can do better. Because there's always something that I can do a little bit better, whether it's the flow, whether it's the routine, whether it's the feel, whether how it feels for us to coach, if it feels monotonous or we're doing too much. And so it's like in that state of I guess of leadership, it takes a lot of like throwing your ego to the side.
Yes.
and being like, listen, I don't have the answers for everything. I don't want to be the I guess the smartest person in the room. Like I have a lot of things to grow. I can't tell you how much I've learned from Sean, Ariana, and Gus since they've gotten here. Like it's been like invaluable. And again, I try to tell them that as frequently as I remember, which is not as often as I would wish. But I like them to understand that, like since the second they came in here, I'm like, oh, this is what I can do better with my coaching. And I've taken it and ran with it and implemented it. And I've grown off of them, even if, they're in training. Because it's always that continuous cycle of like, how can I get better? How can I adjust? And then how can I be better for my team?
Yes. And that's the other thing too, guys, when it comes to like leadership, like yes, you're a leader and you're influencing people, but also like don't feel like you need to go at it alone. And it's okay, and it's actually better if you do get help from other people and you receive that feedback and you have people you can have these open conversations with. And I know something like, for me, that's been like a really huge change. Because like I said, like growing up, it was always just like me. I was very independent. Even from like my parents and everything, they were not the ones directing my life. I was. And then when we opened up our business, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna be a facility leader. Like just having that title kind of like freaked me out a little bit, because now I'm like, I'm gonna be like influencing all these people. But I loved it, and it's taught me that like, yes, you need to constantly be growing yourself and all that, because you're people are watching you, they're coming to you for advice and guidance. But then as you keep going, I very much had to like step out of my comfort zone and start asking for feedback and working with a team, which is not something I've ever really been used to, but it's helped me tremendously. And like even now, as like like I said, we work with the coach. We have our leadership coach that's helping us right now to level up in our leadership. So like don't feel like you have to go at it alone. It's actually better if you do like get people involved in your circle that can help you grow and that you can help them, and it's awesome. And that's what I love about our Fit Fam, man, because that's like what we're all doing in here. We're just all helping each other out and inspiring each other and influencing each other, leading each other, and everyone that watches on our stories and on that, and your guys' own pages, like they're all being influenced by it. So it's pretty awesome.
It's a pretty big deal.
Coach Sean and I talk about that all the time, because we started at the exact same time together. So we were really training together for a while throughout our whole internship, and then Gus came on, and we were kind of all in it together. But me and Sean always talk about how from the very beginning it was so helpful having each other, because we were so different that everything that I kind of had a weakness in, he knew how to do really well, so I learned a lot from him, and then vice versa. Things that I did well that he felt like he could improve on, he took from me. So constantly just having that give and pull, that give and take was super helpful. So I agree that I think it's awesome to be able to level up with a bunch of people like we all do in here, like Coach Kat was saying.
Yeah.
It's the best way to do it.
Yes.
No, I just had a thought about because we did this thing called like a disc test. You find out personality. There's a lot of birds. Because you guys have opposite birds. I just figured it out.
We do. We're really different.
Sometimes it takes me like a year to think. But no, yeah. There's like, it's cool, and I know I've had plenty of conversations with Coach Ariana, more specifically, and it's also being like extremely vulnerable. Like when I'm doing the things that I am, when I'm doing the things that I am, especially when it comes to like being seen by other people and in a sense leading and having that thing of influence, I want to be a lot more vulnerable when I do things, because I know I have a really big tendency of not opening up and not doing that. And you can ask Kat. That was a really, really big issue that I had, and it was very difficult for me to do that. But I found that being a lot more vulnerable and a lot more open allowed me to become a better leader, because it puts me in a position where I can be more empathetic, I can be more caring, I can be more warm and understanding, and also more thankful and grateful. For a long time, and by a long time I mean I'm 22, so for 21 years, I didn't like when people gave me things. I always was like, I won't take things. I just like it bothered me to a sense, because I always felt like, I didn't work for it, I didn't earn it, I didn't do that. Like it had to be almost like a paycheck in a way, where it's like, I put in my 40 hours, so I get it at the end of the week, or 2 weeks, or whatever. And I had to read a book, and it clicked like a year into working here. And even with them, like if it was like a birthday and I got like something, or like they like gave you something, or like whatever, I was always just like, thanks.
Or even a compliment.
Yeah.
I would just get like
I'd be like, cool. But it took a lot for me just to open up and do that. So we all start from somewhere. We all start from somewhere very rough. I know that like I still have a bunch of stuff to deal with that's gonna make me a better leader in the long term. And it's also, don't think of it that it's like I gotta be from point A to point B, and point B is like being the best person on the planet, because you're not gonna get there if you think about it like that. It's thinking about like, what are things that I can improve on? What are things that I have weaknesses with our leadership coach. Almost every single time that we talk, at the end of it, we're like, like we all have like the same like aha moment. We're like, okay, this is something that we need to work on, because it's very much that thing. It's like you don't know what you don't know, and once you like realize it, it doesn't mean that you have it yet. It means that you now have to close that gap, because you understand what it takes to get there, and that's a very different thing and a very time-consuming thing, because it requires a lot of patience and it requires a lot of effort and energy. And if you're not willing to do that, then it's simple. Like you're not going to be able to get there. So understand that when you're trying to bring yourself up, that it is a lot of work, and it is a lot of patience, and it is a lot of energy, but it outweighs anything else by far, because the alternative is not growing. And I know I refuse to do that. I refuse to stifle myself from growing.
Yeah, I think just growing in your leadership, and even just becoming the best version of yourself. Like, I don't think you can ever really reach it, but it's great to always keep chasing it. Like, it's like your fitness journey, man. Like we tell you guys, like it's ongoing, it's infinite. Like, because if you're working out and you're making progress, but you stop working out, like you're gonna stop making progress, right? And it's the same thing as you're growing as a leader. If you stop working on it, then you're gonna get complacent, you're gonna stop growing. Or if you stop chasing how to be better, that best next version of yourself, like, it's just like, we all want to be the best version of ourselves, but just know that it's going to be like constant chasing it. And really, like, I feel like the goal should be to honestly like never even get there, because you want to just be constantly getting better and better. And even though you can't get there, like it's so worth it to keep trying.
I think that's, that metaphor of like working out is good, because it also means that things change. Like, it doesn't mean it's always consistent. I know for myself, like, even before I worked here, I never did any boot camp workouts. Like, the closest thing I can say I was familiar with is when I played sports and did like circuit stuff. And then when I did the boot camp workouts, I'm like, I understand this very much, and I enjoyed it. I'd always done just classic like bodybuilding stuff or whatever, but like now I'm on the path of being like an endurance athlete, which is very different from just building muscle. It's very different. But it's like, just like in life and in your leadership, like, things are gonna like ebb and flow, and it's your job to kind of stick with it and commit and to just follow along no matter what, and to not let it be like, there's a change. It's not for me, just step back.
Yeah. You're either growing or you're dying.
And we ended on that.
And that's our show for today. I've heard that quote out there though. It's a little intense, but
it's true.
Words
to live by.
The words of 50 cents and you get rich and die trying.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. All right, guys. I don't know.
You have anything to add?
I know.
I mean, I don't know. After that, just actively working on yourself, like just saying that again constantly. I think the funnest part is the journey of becoming better.
Yes.
It would be kind of boring if you just figured it out really early on in life. So constantly finding out new things about yourself and seeing how you can inspire others. It's very rewarding. So keep on going and changing and accepting change and being open to it.
Yes. Yes, we are definitely all about change here at Vintage Fairfit Body Boot Camp. This is what we do best.
Yeah.
Oh man, and we're here to help you guys change your life, you guys. So again, like, don't be afraid to reach out or ask us questions, ask us for feedback, or whatever. Like, we're here to help you guys out any way that we can, and we get a lot of joy out of it. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We gotcha.
I think that's it for me. I mean, I have like 1,000 things I can go on. I know that, but
Of course, we could always just like keep talking and talking and talking, but I think this was a good conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys can see that you are a leader. Take pride in it, but also don't let it overwhelm you. It's just about, again, like, do your best, keep taking care of yourself, and just doing that alone, like, you're being a leader in your life, all right? And I think we'll end that there. Yeah? All right, cool. All right, guys, don't forget, sign up for the challenge. All right, you guys, it'll be life-changing. And again, change is good, all right? All right, guys, let's get up right here. Let's get our hands in. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Family!
Woo-hoo! All right, guys, we will see you later.
adios.